What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode 12 of Heavybaghero. As I said in one of the episodes, you got to at least make it to episode 12. Man, a little frustrated right now because I just recorded about a 30-minute episode and then had technical difficulties and everything shut down. I don't know if it was because I was getting a call on my phone and I use my phone as my hotspot because I live in an RV. But yeah, it was a little frustrating. I was really ranting on, but it's probably good because I forgot a lot of stuff and now it'll be a little more fresh on the memory. But really excited to be back. I really want to shout out the guy on Instagram who commented on my latest video and said expert insights didn't work out or something like that. I need to go read what it said. It was actually pretty funny. Oh man, I posted a video a couple days ago and this guy S.L.I.C.K.T, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for getting me. He said expert insights didn't work, so now he's on to rage bait. What are you gonna fail at next? I commented back and said probably rage bait because it's true. Anyways, really excited to be back. It's been a crazy year for me just in my personal life. A lot of things going on. And it's just been a crazy year for the UFC. I really took a lot of time off from the UFC last year, just really lost interest in it, if I'm going to be honest. Kind of like after the John Jones fight versus Stipe Miocic, I just really wasn't interested in the cards that followed, and there were just a lot of really hard cards to watch, or just like really uninteresting cards to watch this year, at the beginning of this year. But yeah, like I'm gonna kind of go through it right now. We're just gonna start there because the last fight I think I did talk about was John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. So yeah, we had Jones versus Stipe Miocic, Jan versus Figueiredo, which I love Petr Yan, he's great. Pantoja versus Asakura. That was a weird fight. The flyweight division's just in a really weird state. For those of you that don't know, Asakura came from some Japanese league, was a dominant champion there, came and immediately got the title shot versus Pantoja, because they're just looking for guys to fight Pantoja. Pantoja choked him out in like the second round or something. Then we had Covington versus Buckley. Ended up not being as exciting, as much trash talk as there was. Ended up being incredibly boring. Duran versus Ribas, didn't even watch it. Makhachev versus Moicano, didn't even watch that fight. I don't even know what that card looked like. But as soon as Arman pulled out, I was like, I'm for sure not watching this. He submitted Moicano in the first round. I feel like I kind of feel bad for Islam because his title run has just been so poor. Like, it is not going to go down as an impressive title run. Like, so many of his fights have been last minute. Like, he was a minus 1,200 versus Moicano. Oh, my gosh. Merab and Umar fought on that card. That ended up being a really good fight. Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill. That was great to see Jamal Hill get knocked out. But yeah, I kind of feel bad for Islam because it's like I don't think he's trying to make this work the way it has, but it has. He's just got a very bad title run. So, and then we had Adesanya versus Imavov. Adesanya got knocked out. He's allergic to the classic 1-2 combination, the first combination you learn in boxing classes. Not even that I've taken any boxing classes. I just hit my heavy bag in my garage. Duplessis versus Strickland 2 was incredibly boring, so much so that Strickland's coach was like, I don't want to coach losers. I want to coach champions. Cannonier versus Rodriguez, don't think I watched that. Cejudo versus Song, don't think I watched that. Definitely didn't watch Cape versus... These are all main events, by the way. I'm just reading off the main events. Cape versus, I can't even pronounce this guy's name. Didn't watch it. Pereira versus Ankalaev. I caught the tail end of it. Really was not an exciting fight. I think Pereira came back and pretty much was like, I've been fighting too much. I'm just exhausted. And Ankalaev didn't even look that impressive as well. So I think they're doing the rematch, and I think that Pereira's probably going to whoop Ankalaev, to be honest. Vittoria versus Dolidis 2, didn't watch that, but this next fight night, this is kind of what re-sparked my interest in the UFC and to start watching a little more. Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. I'm a really big Sean Brady fan. I really like him. I think he does everything very well, and I think he's very aggressive as well, which is what you want in a fighter. I don't think he plays it safe. I think he does what he came to do. He sticks to his game plan, and he does a really good job at it. Very technical, very skillful. Watching him beat the crap out of Leon Edwards was great. I really enjoyed that, to be honest. And then we had Moreno versus Urseg. That was a great fight. I have no hate for Steve Urseg. I think he's great. I think he's a really good fighter, really skillful, but I'm just like a huge Brandon Moreno fan. Love Brandon Moreno. Been in the closest fights you will ever see, almost every fight that he's in. So it was really good to see Moreno get back in the win column. I think he fought someone before that. But this was his second fight back after, I think, taking a lot of time off. Then we had Emmett versus Murphy. That was a weird card. Emmett just kind of getting tired of Josh Emmett. He's a one-trick pony with his right hand, and he doesn't even use it that much. He's not much like, I'm just like, go to boxing, dude. Why are you in MMA? Sorry, Josh. I hope to get you on the podcast and talk to you and ask you cool questions one day. Don't go back and watch this. I really do like you as a fighter. It was just an unfortunate fight. And then the one that really got it, the one that really reeled me back in. And this is what just sent me into full-blown, all right, heavy bag heroes, we're going to do something here. Like, as you can see, got a shirt on, maybe some merch coming. But really wanted to start doing the podcast again and really started like kind of building a brand around heavy bag heroes. Alexander Volkanovski versus Lopez. There we are. Okay, I think we're back. Good grief, I'm going to have to cut this up later. Man, this is what's been so frustrating. I've been trying to record podcasts, but I've been having such technical issues. I don't know why. You know, I'm obviously using a new camera. It looks a lot better. Having some bad internet issues. I think that's ultimately what it is. But I recorded a podcast. I may have said this already, but I recorded a podcast like a week or two ago, like 30 or 45 minutes long, and realized that the audio wasn't good. So hopefully this is good now, but hopefully this will, hopefully I can be able to pick up where I left off, because it says up here on the top, I'm recording at 9 minutes now. So hopefully it picked up the last 9 minutes. Anyways, so to go back to where we were at. Anyways, so yeah, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez. What a phenomenal fight that ended up being. Was really excited and really happy to see Volkanovski. Like, we just needed that as the fans. We needed a fan favorite to get a win. And it's funny how it started off so slowly. Like, if you go back in this card, there's really not any fan favorites here besides like maybe Moreno, right? Like, no fan favorite. Izzy's not a fan favorite. Neither one of these guys are fan favorites. Like, so we hadn't had anyone besides, it's like Moreno got the win, which is great. Sean Brady is kind of like he's a pretty niche fan favorite, I would say. But then this was like fan favorite, the good guy won. Not that Diego Lopez is a bad guy at all. I love Diego Lopez. I love the way he fights. I think he's amazing. It was a really close fight, and I definitely think he's going to come back and be the champion one day. Right now it's just Volk time, which I'm just so happy about. I think everybody loves Alexander Volkanovski. It was really good to see him get a win, come out in old school form, original form, whatever you want to call it. He fought a really good fight. He's got the belt back. And against an amazing opponent too. A guy who's been starching people. So it was good to see them both take huge cracks at each other and not go down. So that was amazing. Would have been great to follow up with a Carlos Bretas win over Ian Machado Gary. That fight ended up being a really good fight, especially in the 5th round when Bretas started to come back and could possibly get the win. And then one of my fan favorites, Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo. Figgy is a lot of people's fan favorites, but I'm going to take Corey every time. I just think Corey's amazing. I think he is so good at everything he does. He's super hard to deal with. And when he's locked in, he's locked in. So that ended up being a pretty good fight up until the busted knee, which Corey claims is like Figueiredo knew that would probably happen if he didn't shift his weight correctly or give him the position he wanted, the way they were tied up in the legs. Super interesting take, but really glad Corey got that, and now he's fighting Merab, I think, in October, maybe November. So really excited he's getting the championship shot. And then it was just a real win for the good guys when Bilal got the brakes beat off of him by Jack Della Maddalena. That was incredible. I loved watching that fight. I thought Jack fought an amazing fight. I thought Bilal fought an incredibly poor fight and was just way overcompensating for how good he is, especially on the feet. He could have probably easily won that fight had he done what Bilal does. That's the thing about Bilal. I'm going to go on a little Bilal rant real quick. And Bilal, if you hear this, I mean every word that I say. Bilal is just like he's a one-trick pony when it comes to the wrestling, which is crazy. He has no submission threat. I don't even know if he's submitted anyone. He probably has, but I can't remember who I was watching. It may have been Leon Edwards, the Leon Edwards fight, or one before that, that Bilal literally had every opportunity to take the neck of the guy and just couldn't get the submission. It's just like incredibly embarrassing, if I'm going to be honest. He's not bad with his hands. Like he stood toe to toe with Jack, but Jack's just better, and Jack won the fight because of that. So that was an awesome fight to watch, an awesome win. That was like a huge breath of fresh air for I think all of the fans to see Jack get that win, because everyone likes Jack, no one likes Bilal, and Bilal's just been talking so much crap. He even like made a video the other day where he was roasting Ian Machado Gary with ChatGPT roasts. It was insane. Then we had Burns versus Morales. This was just an absolute changing of the guard right here. First round knockout. Gamrot versus Klein. Don't even think I watched that. Merab Davishvili versus Sean O'Malley 2 went about exactly as I kind of anticipated it to. Merab's just kind of went on one of those tears, kind of like the Usman Volkanovski Adesanya era where they just couldn't be touched. Merab is currently that champion. I don't really know if any of the other champions are like that, except for Ilya maybe. But anyone you throw at Merab, he's going to beat. That's why I really like the matchup with him and Corey, because I think Corey does really good against wrestlers and is also a phenomenal striker. So Usman versus Buckley was just a beautiful, classic, old man to young man butt whooping. And really enjoyed watching it. Really enjoyed watching Usman get back in the win column and in such a dominant fashion. That was a really weird fight for Buckley. I'm not a huge Buckley fan. He had that crazy spinning knockout kick that was amazing and is going to be a UFC highlight for the rest of the time. But seeing Usman get back in the win column after he got knocked out by Edwards, had a really close second fight that arguably could have gone his way. Then he had the 10-day notice against Chimaev that he took him all the way to the third round. Arguably could have won that too. It was good to see Usman get back in the win column, and especially beating up a guy like Buckley. Hill versus Roundtree. I'm not going to say a great fight, but it was great to watch Hill lose and get beat up once again. Really like Khalil Roundtree. It was a very interesting fight. Like, I don't feel like Khalil was as aggressive as he normally is. But he said that was kind of intentional. You know, he wants to fight like a champion. So, then sad day, very sad day. I can't believe how many fights have already happened between this and now. But right now we're at the end of June. Topuria versus Oliveira for the lightweight, vacant lightweight title. That was an incredibly unfortunate thing to watch. Ilya Topuria, man, what do you do? He's on the greatest 3-fight win streak of all time. Like, he murdered Volk, he murdered Max, and now he's murdered Charles. It's just like, to me, I want to see Gaethje next. Not get murdered, but I want to see him fight Gaethje next. I don't see Gaethje pulling it off, because Gaethje has been susceptible to the knockout plenty of times. But I just like, Gaethje's a dog. He's one of those guys you just are like, go in there, see what you can do. You know, see if you can do something against him, because he typically always does. And he gets fight of the night every time he fights. So, would love to see that fight. Ilya Topuria, man, what do you do with that guy? He's just like, I have to remember that he's not immortal because he went 5 rounds with Josh Emmett, although he beat the crap out of Josh Emmett the entire time. He didn't struggle versus Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell also had the flu, but like, he's had fights that have gone close to the distance and he's struggled in, but like, it's just like when he doesn't struggle at all versus a pound-for-pound great in Alexander Volkanovski, a constant pound-for-pound top 10 guy in Max Holloway, and a top 5, you know, was at one time, I think, the pound-for-pound number 1 in Oliveira, and he kills all of them within 3 rounds. What do you do with a guy like that? So, I don't know. I'm really excited to see what's next. You know, he called out Patty, you know, calling him a bitch and all that stuff. We'll see what happens with Ilya. I'm sure they've got a good plan for him. I would have loved to have seen Dustin and Ilya like 2 years ago. Now, if Dustin and Ilya had fought, I would have been very sad. That would have been tough to watch if Ilya was Dustin's last fight. Anyways, we'll do a whole segment on Ilya later. Then we had Lewis versus Teixeira. Really weird stoppage, but I just loved seeing Lewis get back into the win column. Or no, he's actually been winning. I think he won his last one too. But it was just great to see him go out, first round knockout. And he cracked him with that left hand. I don't think it was going to go much longer. And I think it wasn't Mark Goddard. I forgot. It was Jason Herzog was the ref. And I think when Teixeira started climbing up the fence like Spider-Man and Lewis was just laying haymakers into him, although he was getting up, he was not going to last much longer. So that was cool to see. I would love to see Lewis make a title run again. That would be epic to watch him and Tom. I mean, I think Tom would beat the crap out of him, but there's always that threat there with Lewis. So he's also just such a fun fighter to watch. He's just so enjoyable and just a great personality. But what's crazy is, like, I never really thought Derek Lewis cared about the UFC. I thought he was just like, I'm really good at punching people and I'm just going to keep doing this. But I think he, like, actually cares. He's, like, lost some weight. He's gotten really fit. So really excited to see kind of how his career goes from here. And then, oh, man, sad day. Holloway versus Poirier, number 3. When I look at this now, I am happy that it played out the way it did. I'm happy that Dustin didn't get knocked out. I'm happy that Max didn't get knocked out. I don't know. It was a weird fight. It was a hard fight to watch. Like, literally my 2 favorite fighters of all time having to fight again. And for what purpose, Dana White and Hunter Campbell? I mean, obviously it's for Dustin's retirement fight, and he was like legends only, so it makes sense. But I think it was time for Dustin to go. I think he made the right decision. Whether he believes that or not, I think he does. And Mike Brown believes that. I think Mike Brown said in an interview like that he thinks it was a great time for Dustin to walk away from the sport. I still think he's great, but he just like, one, I'm like all on the Blessed Express right now because I think that he can actually beat Ilya, especially at 155. I think Max he just keeps turning it up, and I don't know how. He just keeps getting better and better and better. And although he got beat by Ilya, he's the one that gave him the most trouble, right? He's the one, like, he won that first round for sure. I went and watched that fight back recently. He won the first round, arguably won the second round, and then he just got caught in the third round, and that ultimately is what got him hurt. But I think Max at 155 is a much more durable Max. I just think he's phenomenal too. But that fight was weird. The Dustin versus Max fight was weird because Max really seemed to have held back. And I am, like, as a fan, really appreciative of that because I'm like, you want to give us a fight, you want to give us a show. I think he could have put him away when he had him wobbled the first time. I don't know if that was in the first or second round, but when he had Dustin wobbled, I'm like, I think Max can put him away here, but he didn't. And I think he just was giving Dustin the respect, maybe. I don't know. That's just what it looked like. And a lot of people on Twitter said it too, or X, whatever. A lot of people on X said it too. Like, I think Max was holding back here to keep the fight going. I really think they wanted to have that last 10 seconds moment. I wish that Dustin would have just full sent it and gone out on his shield just for the highlight, but I understand he doesn't want to go out like Gaethje, which makes sense. But I'm glad neither one of them took, I mean, Dustin's done, so it doesn't, I mean, I don't want him to be messed up for the rest of his life with CTE or anything, but he can afford to get knocked out and be okay. Max, it's like it affects the rest of his career and what he's trying to do in 155, but I think it was good because I'm like, that was a really hard fight because I don't want Dustin to go out on a loss and I don't want him to go out with a knockout, and it would be an insane story for him to go out with the BMF belt and with a knockout on Max. But on the flip side, as a huge Max fan, him beating Dustin's really good for his career trajectory, really good for the BMF belt, and really good for him at 155 and setting him up and getting him that rematch with Topuria, which would be awesome. But yeah, I just it was an exciting fight to watch nonetheless. It was a very exciting fight to watch. I was really happy with it. Watching it live. If I went back and watched it, I probably wouldn't think it was as interesting as their past fight was, their last fight together. I do think it may have deserved fight of the night, though. I don't know. I forgot who the other fight was that won fight of the night, but I think that one could have definitely. I think they should have gotten fight of the night and gotten the bonuses. But yeah, it was a really good fight. I'm glad it finished the way it did. It went to a decision. They banged it out. Like, they had some great moments. Pause. They had some great moments in the fight that made it really exciting. But I'm glad Max won. I'm glad Max got one on Dustin. But I also think it was time for Dustin to leave, which is okay. So yeah, I really back into the UFC. Really excited for the things to come and some of the fights coming up. I'm getting another call. I think it's the dealership calling me once again. But yeah, good things are happening. Yeah, so as far as Heavy Bag Heroes goes, I'm really excited to be back. I've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I really want to launch something cool. I really want to make this into more than just like a meme page, if you will, or more than a podcast. You know, I really think it could be something cool, very community driven, and ultimately the whole gimmick behind Heavy Bag Heroes is like kind of making fun of the guys who go to the 24-hour fitness and hit the heavy bag. But like, I'm one of those guys. You know, I hit the heavy bag in my garage, and I know a lot of guys that do. And it's kind of just a play on like, I'm a heavy bag hero, right? Like, I talk about fighting. I call myself, I have expert insights like that Instagram comment said, but it's like literally my expertise is 6 months of jiu-jitsu, and I hit my heavy bag in the garage. You know, that's it. But I love doing both of those things, right? If I can get back into jiu-jitsu, and hopefully I will have the time to get back into jiu-jitsu, that would be awesome. But hitting the heavy bag in the garage is a great workout. It's really fun. It's a good way to get some aggression out, And yeah, I mean, it's really just kind of like a don't take yourself too seriously, but also just like do what you want, I'm hoping it'll I'm trying to get back where I was in my fitness level and on my fitness journey, after being involved in an accident this year, that really kind of took that away from me for a long time. And so I really want to get back to where I was in my fitness journey, and kind of want to use Heavy Bag Heroes as like a way to motivate, a way to inspire, if you will, but also just make funny content that just kind of makes fun of myself, right? Like, all of my videos are making fun of myself in some capacity. And rage bait. Rage bait is hilarious. I love rage baiting people. But yeah, we got some cool things coming out. I've been working on some merch. I got some samples in. Trying to figure out the printing style, trying to figure out how things print. We'll hopefully have a store coming up soon. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to try and keep doing some more podcasting. I'm going to try and get some friends on, try and get some more people on, see if I can get some fighters on. Because I'm super intrigued by UFC. I'm super intrigued by fighters. Obviously, dream podcast would be to get Dustin Poirier or Max. Definitely Dustin. I don't know why I said Max. I mean, I want Max to be on the podcast for sure. I would love that. But Dustin's like, he's number one in my UFC world. It's weird to say about another man, but it's true. I just think he's awesome, and it would be great to have him on the show. But yeah, so episode 12, Heavy Bag Heroes, just kind of spitting from the dome. Hopefully moving forward, we'll do some more card analysis, some fight analysis, breaking down stuff some more in simple man's terms, because I'm not a fighter. I don't know technical terms, but I can observe what I see about a fight, and what most casual or just casual watchers see. But yeah, we'll see how this thing goes. I'm really excited about it. Again, I'm really excited about the Heavy Bag Heroes brand. I've been working really hard behind the scenes to kind of grow it into something, hopefully grow it into something really cool. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I will get back on a weekly basis of this stuff. So thanks for watching. Go and be a Heavy Bag Hero.